The Burlington High Fogelberg Auditorium was filled with poetry last week during Burlington High's 2019 Poetry Out Loud Finals competition. The school's 8 finalists each had the opportunity to recite 2 memorized poems in front of the judges, their teachers, and their supportive peers. The finalists were the winners of smaller, in-classroom competitions leading up to the finals, and all of them brought their best to the stage.
I think they did an amazing job. They chose some really very challenging poems, a lot of pre-20th century, some metaphysical, some Elizabethan, that's hard language. And they also chose ones with really complex themes. So I think the students did a nice job of picking works that had a lot of weight to them so that they would be able to appeal to an audience. And each of them was fantastic on the stage.
Poetry Out Loud is a national competition meant to inspire students to learn about poems and how to recite them. The goal is to foster a better understanding of poetry, poets, and the meaning of the language, as well as to work on the skills of reading and comprehension high school students learn in their classrooms. There is also the added benefit of allowing students to explore an art form that can speak to them on a personal level.
I think it's important for students to really explore poetry to find something that means something to them. So with the initial assignment, every student in the class has to go through that Poetry Out Loud website to identify a poem that resonates with them in some way, that speaks to them. And then they have to reflect on why they chose that poem. And that's my favorite part of it, that they are just interacting with poetry.
After the recitations, it was time for the judges to announce the winner. This year's BHS Poet Laureate, who will go on to represent the school in the state semifinals, is Shea, who after the competition was still coming to grasp with her victory.
It's a little weird. I did not think I was going to win, but it feels pretty cool to have moved on to a championship. It's really cool.
Caitlin recited A Valediction, Forbidding Morning by John Donne, and Traveling Through the Dark by William Stafford, 2 poems that hit on the same theme, but in very different ways.
The first poem I chose because, I don't know, it was up on the list and I saw that it was like really happy, but it was about a sad topic, and I thought the kind of like juxtaposition between the theme and the actual poem itself was really cool. And the second one I picked mostly because it completely was the opposite of the first poem. Well, the first poem was about death, but it was happy. The second poem was about death, but it was really sad.
I asked her about her process of memorizing the poems for the competition.
I practiced a lot. It was mostly just like having the poems up on my laptop, but having the screen turned away from me. So I'd go through the entire thing, see what I did, and then I would turn it back around, highlight the words that I didn't know, and then just kind of cycle those words in my head a bunch of times and then do it again.
Caitlin's performance won over the judges and faculty members alike.
She did a phenomenal job. I have not had Caitlin in class, but I see her involved in Poetry Out Loud, and she's involved in Idle Hands, and she comes to our listening lunches and things, so she's really very much invested in the arts, which is nice. Her performance blew me away, both of them, so I'm really proud of her and excited to move with her to the state semifinals, which will be happening first weekend in March.
Congratulations to all the finalists and to Caitlin on being crowned this year's Burlington High Poet Laureate. From the BHS Auditorium, I'm BNEWS Director Rich Hosford.